This is the GameBloc Cast, episode 4. I'm your host, Richard Sherman, and this week I have with me...
Jonathan.
Kiral.
And Kenny.
Welcome back, Kenny.
Yeah, welcome back.
It's nice to be back.
Number
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
Better than Christian.
This is a new record.
Yeah, it's a new record. I mean, yeah, no. Jonathan, have you been on every podcast?
Yeah, I have.
All right, good. I'm just making sure. Okay, welcome to the 1 month anniversary special, which nothing special happens, but it's still a podcast. So that's good.
Is there such thing as a 1 month anniversary?
High school relationships, Jonathan.
Did you and your girlfriend have a 1 month anniversary, Richie?
Several times.
That's sad.
Well, Jonathan, at least I had a girlfriend.
Hey.
Oh!
Speaking of Jonathan, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Banished because it's fun and it's something I can do while doing homework and stuff.
What are you doing, Banished?
So you do stuff and you win.
Like make a town.
Yeah, so you start off with practically nothing. I chose the easy option so I could kind of just cruise through it, have something to do while doing homework and working on projects and stuff. So I chose the easy option, which starts you off with 6 families and a bunch of supplies to start off with. And you kind of just make a town, as Kiral said. You can make farms, you can have a gatherer's hut, you can have an herbalist hut, you can have a tree chopper.
Tree chopper.
You have to keep everyone fed, clothed, warm, and with tools, or everything goes to hell.
Do you get banished? Sorry. So is there actual peril? Like, can these families die?
Oh, yes, there is.
Okay.
Your first real peril is probably going to be winter.
Oh,
Yes.
Just like don't starve.
Yeah, so if you hadn't prepared right, you're probably not going to have any firewood because you just didn't know, which is what happened to me.
Oh, nice.
You don't have any firewood, so everyone freezes to death. Or you decided to be stupid and do a farm instead of a gatherer's hut. And farms don't really work during the winter because duh.
No.
And everyone starves. So what happened in my first playthrough was I was like, all right, this is going good. I had a small farm people were working on. I'm like, all right, no one's dying. And then suddenly winter came, and abruptly winter came, and then abruptly a blizzard came. Everyone froze, and everyone died, and I lost everything.
How long does it take to get to that point? You know, how much time does this game take?
You can change like there's a speed thing, so you can change, right? So you could have it at 1 time speed, so it's like real, quote unquote, real time with the game. So in that speed, I think 1 year takes about 20 to 30 minutes.
So is it turn-based or real-time? Because you said you were doing it while you did homework.
It's an RTS, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I would just set people to do something, and then they would do it, and I would quick work on homework, and then get back, and they were done, or frozen, and...
Let it go.
Yeah, so... How many times do I have to sigh at you this podcast?
Oh, don't worry, there's still time.
Okay, goody. So yeah, it's a real-time strategy game, much like SimCity, but on a much scaled down version.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's $20 on the Steam store right now. So I would definitely pick it up if you just need some chill game to play.
Is it 3D or top down?
I
honestly don't know.
Top down.
Both. It's both because it's kind of like that Civ 5 view. Right,
I think it's isometric is what it's called.
Yeah, isometric.
Right. Okay.
You can have a top-down view, but it's not as cool.
Not as cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so yeah, that's all I've been playing.
I've seen it a little bit on the Steam store every once in a while, but I haven't actually looked into it.
It's really good if you need to do something else, or you're watching a show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't really recommend it if you just wanted to sit down and play it. It might get a little boring and repetitive.
Oh, okay.
Because a good amount of it is sitting there waiting for, if you play it in quote unquote real time, it's a lot of sitting down and waiting for people to do stuff.
Okay.
But if you have something else to do on the side, then it's a really chill game.
Well,
just
that's
a
good.
chill back and relax game.
That's nice.
Yep.
Well, great.
Richie, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles for the GameCube. And to set this one up a little bit, I guess, 3 weeks ago, one of my friends in college looked at my shelf full of GameCube games and said, hey, that's Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. We should play it. And so then winter break happened, and then I left it at home, and then I forgot it, and then we didn't have batteries once we did get it for the Game Boy Advances. But now we finally got to play it about 2 months after initially wanting to. So Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles for the GameCube isn't your normal Final Fantasy, I would say. It's more of a dungeon crawler-esque vibe to it, and it's multiplayer, and it utilizes the connecting to the Game Boy Advance to the GameCube thing, which sounds a little weird, especially since now you can connect everything wirelessly and stuff, but since this game came out in 2003, it's very different. It's all wired, and I forgot how dark the Game Boy Advance screens are, because they are so dark. It's really hard to see those things when you're looking through your map and sorting through all your items. Like it's really weird. I'm not used to it.
So you're not using your SP then?
Well, my SP's backlight broke. So,
oh yeah.
So it's dark. But the graphics on it do not look as good as I remembered them. Like, they still hold up pretty well for a game made in 2003, but I wouldn't say they held up as well as I thought they did.
Yeah, they were, if I remember correctly, they were like nice looking textures, but they weren't exactly high resolution.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and especially now, looking back on it, it does not hold up as well as it did in my mind's eye. And so me and my friends just started. We just beat our first year. I'm a Uke for the first time, which Kenny usually is when we play Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. And it is weird for me, because I'm usually a Clavat or a Clavat, whatever they're called. I've never actually... In Clavat, I think they called them Clavats and Crystal Bearers. But I don't know.
Should we recognize that as being a game, though?
No.
That's
pick up and throw the game. Like, that's pretty much what it is. But so I've been trying to teach my roommate how to play it, because he's never played it before, and it's been a little weird because I don't know if he's really enjoying it that much, but I'm having a great time. And I remember how much I've redone the first year, because for most times in Final Fantasy, you're just like, oh, well, I'm going to play and beat it. And then you get through 1 or 2 years and then you're like, whatever. And then all your friends want to play and then you start over, and it keeps happening over and over again. So like, I could remember like in Mine of Cthulhu's, right when you enter and you turn left, the first enemy there has a cure magicite and stuff like that. So I was just thinking, wow, I must sound ridiculous right now because I know everything that's going to drop from these enemies. But anyway, I was still having a great time. We couldn't get our fourth person in because one of the Game Boy Advances didn't work, but it's still really good, and I'll probably be updating a little bit as we progress through the game.
It is a lot better in multiplayer. The single player was kind of lonely, and it's hard to coordinate spells with your Moogle.
Yes, I mean,
Jesus.
but in single player, you could fuse your spells together in your command list.
So you don't need to worry about those stupid. One person has to cast a quarter of a second later than the other two.
Yeah,
it's handled automatically.
Yeah, I was trying to coordinate that, doing a flame strike, which, one person charges up their focus attack, and then I had the fire spell, and once they're linked together, I have to let go of A like a second or so before he lets go of A. So it makes it really difficult to do that during a real combat setting.
Yeah, you need to just have like I remember when we were doing it, we just had a countdown. Yeah. And whoever had to go first started counting down. He released on 2, and then the other guy released on 1.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, I still really like the game. I'm looking forward to playing it more. Speaking of Final Fantasy, I guess is my segue, I've also been playing Lightning Returns Final Fantasy XIII, which is the third Final Fantasy XIII game, which is weird. But Square Enix is having an online sale right now, so there's a ton of games that you can get for really cheap that I would recommend.
On Steam?
No, on their own website. So there's tons of games there. There's still DS games. Like you can get Ring of Fates or Chrono Trigger or some of the Dragon Quest games they remade on DS. But anyway, I picked up Lightning Returns because I heard it was the best port of any of the Final Fantasy XIII games on Steam because they don't have the best track record. And I've never played this one before, and it is so much more different than the other two. Like, I've played a couple hours of this game. I don't even know if you get other party members. I think you're just playing as Lightning, which was the main protagonist of 13, and then one of the major characters in 13 too. And the combat system is a lot different. Like, it's just all based on your one person. And unlike the previous two games, I actually haven't played 13-2 that much, but in comparison to 13, the combat system isn't just like all like spacebar enter you win, because they would just there was an auto battle button which kind of defeated the purpose of playing those battles. And that was really strange for Final Fantasy 13, so it made it really like not fun in my opinion.
Yeah. Because most of the time I would be playing the few Final Fantasy games I've played, it was always to battle. I did it because the battling was fun and trying to come up with strategies and stuff.
Yeah, and 13
auto battle kind of defeats that.
Yeah, in 13 that was not the case, and since it was pretty linear, like there wasn't much to do. But in this game, it is different. So I should just say this: the controls on the keyboard are absolute garbage. Like they're so weird and confusing that I do not recommend it. If you have a way to play with a controller, I would do that. But the combat system is interesting because you just play as Lightning, and you still have the ATB, which is the active time battle gauge or whatever. And you can do attacks and magic, typical Final Fantasy stuff. But when you run out of ATB, you can switch to a different costume, basically, which grants Lightning more different powers. So, like, you could play as Lightning, attack, use Thunder or whatever, and then when you run out of ATB, switch to a different costume, like pretty much a different version of Lightning that has different attacks, like Blizzard or a different attack rather than standard attack. So it's actually kind of interesting. I didn't know that was the way it worked, but it's great. I actually am really enjoying it, even with the bad controls. I still haven't been able to connect my PS4 controller to it. The story is interesting. Basically, God wakes you up as Lightning 500 years after 13-2 and says, hey, you got to go save some people down on Earth because I'm going to create a new world. And you got to get some of the human souls up onto into this basically kind of like purgatory area so that they can be sent to this new world. So the way you do that is by side quests and stuff. You talk to the people around the world and say, hey, do you need help? And if you complete their quest, then you take their soul and they get to go on and live in the new world, which is interesting. And I haven't really played a whole lot of it, so I don't know how far that really goes, but it's definitely a lot less linear than 13. And it's much more open world. That's what I'm trying to say.
13 is final hallway to me.
Yes, that's what a lot of people call it. So yeah, that's Lightning Returns. It's pretty fun. I don't know if I could recommend it to anyone yet because I haven't played it enough, but it's pretty fun. And so the game I'm also playing, sorry, I've played a lot of games this week, that I just got 3 or 4 hours ago, is Fire Emblem Fates, which is the thing I was excited about in February when we talked about it on the first episode of the podcast. And I've been playing through Birthright, and it is very awakening-y, I guess is what you'd call it. It's very similar to the previous game. Like I'm in the first 3 chapters, so it's really hard for me to give a great opinion about it. But just my initial opinion is that it's going to be awesome. The music's fantastic. The dialogue is pretty great. I haven't gotten to the point where I've had to buy any weapons yet, because that's like the main difference of this game, is that the weapon durability, there is none, I should say, unlike previous Fire Emblem games, and the weapons are more expensive and do crazy things. But so far I've been really liking it. I'll probably talk about it more later in another week or so, but so far it's been pretty great. Anyway, Kenny, what have you been playing?
Well, my friend dragged me to a CSGO surf server. It was pretty crazy. I'd seen a couple videos of people surfing online.
Do you care to explain?
Oh, yeah. So the physics in the Source engine are amazing. And so if you get going quickly, and you can slide along slopes, and you can try to walk left and right to accelerate along slopes. So they build crazy obstacle courses out of triangles that you have to slide across from one end to the other. It's pretty crazy. I'd seen some videos of people online, and I thought, well, that looks interesting, and left it at that. But it is really hard. These people were turning around in the air. They were making jumps, and I can't make the first jump anywhere. It's really
hard.
It was. I have a lot of respect for the people that play the surf maps.
Yeah, no, the surf maps are difficult. Like, I've tried them before, thinking, oh, they're no big deal, but they are hard.
They're crazy. I spent like 4 hours.
Wow.
And I couldn't complete. The server said it was the lowest rank, and I couldn't complete it.
Ouch.
It's pretty tough. Then another game I tried playing for almost 45 minutes was Soccer Manager Simulator.
Woo!
It's
play.
Well, it doesn't help that I don't actually know how to play soccer.
But you don't actually play soccer, do you?
No,
you don't.
You're just a
you
manager.
manage it. It's like
Excel sheets everywhere.
Yeah, you got like a list of players, and you get to assign them to positions in a formation, and then you get to give individual ones little directions, like you should try to go this way or something, and then you play a game against another team, and you watch your players run around in a map. They're just little dots. It's like a simulation of a soccer game using particles. It's
interesting.
It's really interesting, and it's really interesting when the UI in places doesn't go away, covers up what you actually want to do.
That's fun.
Yeah, I don't think...
Hey-oh, it's the train!
Hello, train.
Yeah, just keep...
I mean, you can keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't have a train.
Okay. You're right.
Yeah, so I don't know that it's actually as bad as I thought it was, because I don't know how to play soccer, but I was having problems trying to do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of have to have a basic knowledge of what a soccer formation would be like, right? So
yeah,
if you kind of have no knowledge of soccer, it might be a little bit of a problem.
It looked very intricate, and it looked like a great simulation. All the dots running around, they looked kind of like how people run around, and it looked like it might have been a very accurate simulation. But I didn't know. A game that I did understand and had quite a bit of fun playing is...
1 second. Before you go on,
okay.
I'd like to say, if they had an American football simulator here in America, that would do crazy stupid well.
Yes.
Because of all the fantasy football fans.
They don't have one?
No. I don't believe so.
I don't know. Whoa. They might. Isn't Soccer Manager Simulator one of the most pirated games?
It's Football Manager.
Free
Football
Manager.
Yes. Football Manager 2016.
It was Football Manager. Sorry, I made a mistake.
Yeah, you do those a lot.
Anyway, Kenny, what were you talking about?
Oh, I played a game. It's called Butsball. The best way I can describe it is a top-down arena shooter.
Exciting.
So your characters are all rectangles, and you run around little stages, and you shoot at each other. You shoot squares at each other, and it's kind of like Pong the way they bounce, but your bullets never disappear. So they just keep bouncing until they hit another player and kill them, or until they hit another bullet.
That's crazy.
It's it gets insane with 4 players because the stages they all fit on a screen. There's no scrolling, and
so kind of like sports ball.
It's a lot like sports ball. It reminded me the way the bullets bounced of the We Play Tanks minigame.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
You have deathmatch, you have last man standing, and capture the flag game modes instead of trying to complete levels. But it was only $2.99 on Steam.
Oh, why not give it a go then?
Yeah, you can get a 4-pack and play with 3 of your friends for only $9.
Ooh,
yep, so you get a free copy.
Or you could give them to yourself 4 times because you have no friends.
Yep.
You could do that, but you can play with bots.
Yeah,
it's not nearly as fun.
Buy one for each bot.
You could do that. And then, yeah, that's about it. I don't think I've played a whole lot of games this week.
Good. I mean, sad.
It's
good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say sad. I meant, I'm sorry. Dang.
Yeah.
Dang.
I'm just going to cut this part out.
Okay.
Outcast, outtakes, whatever.
Boom. There you go.
Boom.
Okay. So, Kiral, what have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a little Flash game called Leo's Red Carpet Rampage.
Uh-huh.
So this is pretty much on the level of just the ridiculous. It's just somebody making fun of some current event, such as Leonardo DiCaprio not having an Oscar.
Yes.
So there's only 3 buttons, or I guess keys that you use. So you use G and H to run, and then space to jump. But there's different mini games that also use those keys. So it's not always running and jumping. But pretty much the premise is that you're running across the red carpet at the Oscars in order to get your Oscar. I did not complete that. I got a bunch of other awards, like I got 45 Emmys.
Wow.
10 MTV Movie Awards, 11 Golden Globes, 46 SAG Awards, 6 BAFTAs, but sadly still 0 Oscars.
Man.
Wow.
So like you go through stages, and then you have to jump over paparazzi, or there's even what's her name? Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is in your way as you race against other non-Oscar winners, I believe, actually. Matt Damon and a bunch of others. It's kind of interesting because then once you finish legs and you get to like a tent, and then you have to do mini games, which are like maybe like 5 seconds. So one of them's like act harder, so you just continuously press G and H until you act hard enough to get an Oscar. And then there's another one where you have to press G and H in order to write your acceptance speech.
Nice.
It's just ridiculous stuff like that.
That sounds like a great time, Kiral.
It was fantastic.
So, Game of the Year 2016?
Probably way better than anything else has ever come out.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
I would give it 9.9 burritos out of 10.
Okay.
Wow.
That's fair.
That's a lot of burrito.
But not 10 burritos.
Nope, it's not that good.
No game's a
Not
perfect 10 burritos.
No.
It can't.
There's
it
none
can't
such
be.
thing.
Cool. We gotta work on those transitions a little bit.
News time. The news is always great. So there is an interesting rumor that came out recently, and it sounds too good to be true almost. Like, I don't know. If it is true, then that's amazing. If it's not, then whatever. But so take it with a grain of salt. A person on YouTube called Super Metal Dave 64, which apparently has a really good track record when it comes to telling people what's going on in the video game industry that we don't know about, is saying that Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and Final Fantasy XV will be ported to the NX at some point. So what do you guys think of that?
In 2017?
When the NX comes out in 2016. Kiral.
In 2017?
2016. That's an argument for a
2017.
different podcast. When the release date comes out for the NX and it's 2016, then we can talk about it.
Well, we'll probably talk about it in June or July when E3 comes around.
Definitely June.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what do you guys think of that?
I don't.
It's pretty cool. It's going to be a great showcase for the improved graphics because the 7 remake that's the one that looks really good, right?
Yes.
Okay,
And
yeah,
15.
that's going to be great.
15 looks great.
I think it's good they'll actually be starting with some games unlike the Wii U.
That's true. And it makes sense because Square Enix and Nintendo have been pretty buddy-buddy recently, like with Cloud being announced for Smash, and isn't there like and Final Fantasy games coming onto the Virtual Console, so like
Yeah.
I mean that it would be pretty awesome, except I just got a PS4 and one of the main reasons why was to get Final Fantasy 15. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Which one do you like more, Richie? Nintendo or Sony?
Definitely Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
That's not a contest with me.
When
Except-
is
What? Go.
Final Fantasy 15 being released for PS4?
No one really knows yet.
No one knows.
It's supposed to be this year, but they are having an event in Los Angeles, I think, that is just all about Final Fantasy 15. So I'm guessing there will be a release date announced in March when that is.
So there's a good chance that you are going to be able to play it earlier on PS4 than NX.
It depends when the release date is and when the NX comes out.
Yep.
So we'll see.
That could be interesting. That could be like another Wii U situation where
Oh,
a bunch of games that came out for the Wii U at first were just games that were already out on Xbox
Just
360. and
bad
PS3.
ports. Except
Bad ports.
this should be more powerful, so they could give them the PC graphics maybe when they do the
yeah,
port.
I'm still really hoping for cloud processing. Is that what it's called?
oh yeah.
Where all where most of the processing is done.
Oh, so you just stream
Somewhere
the
else.
video to your living room, and
So, I
they're the
guess.
ones playing it?
Well, the way it works, from what the patent said, is that most of the more difficult stuff, more difficult processes will be on the console, but things that aren't entirely necessary are all processed on the cloud device and then sent over the network. So all the things that aren't entirely necessary, like bushes and stuff, will just be like graphics and everything will just be sent over the cloud.
Huh. Now, who's doing that? Whose product is this? Nintendo.
It was a Nintendo patent.
Oh, wow.
So, but then again, there's a bunch of different Nintendo NX patents, and if it did all the things it says it does, then that console will be insane.
It would be an unstoppable force that would roll over everything.
And
Yeah,
also
didn't they
cost
say
like
it was going to be a
$1,000.
circle? Didn't they say it was going to be a circle with a hole in the middle, like a donut at one point?
A cylinder?
I think it was like a disc.
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
I do know it sounded like they aren't going to have a disk drive in it, which is crazy.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think we're moving towards the point where I don't think physical media is gonna be a thing for very much longer.
But they do have cartridges, so they will be going back to cartridges.
Oh, good.
Apparently on the patent, that's what it said.
Cartridges are so nice. You can
And
still get them in boxes, and they don't scratch up.
Yes, which is nice. And
And then
They're
the
faster.
meme will come back where you can blow into them and then they'll work.
well, I don't
yeah.
know if it's that size. I think that we're talking about 3DS cartridge size here, maybe a little bigger.
That's
Probably.
going to be weird looking on a home console.
Yeah, it will.
Really small slot.
Yeah, maybe a really small console.
Ooh.
It'd be kind of cool if you could put multiple cartridges in and then just like kind of have them loaded there already instead of having it on a hard drive
Like
or
a CD changer, like a 6 CD changer, just like
yeah, but it's like you just put them in the slots and then like you just put your most used games in there if they do use a cartridge, and I'm sure that's completely possible.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, if it is a portable and home console thing, like, you'll just take your cartridge out of your portable console and just shove it in the home console one and be good.
Now,
Yeah.
someone correct me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
But
I'm just kidding. Go.
But I believe if it's a cartridge, the cartridge could do some of the processing as well, right?
I don't think they've done that in the past, except for
like
Star
Star
Fox
Fox
on the Super NES. The most they've done recently is like gyroscopes.
Yeah, it'd have to be a lot bigger cartridge than the 3DS one.
Yeah, but that'd be pretty cool, though.
It would be. Moving on. Bethesda is working on 3 new games.
3 new games?
And the fun part is, what 3 games do you think are they working on?
Skyrim 2, Skyrim 3, Skyrim 4. Let's go.
All right. Boom. Done.
Skyrim Online 2.
No, they're going to make a Fallout Online, and it's going to be awful.
Oh, yeah.
And it'd be $60 at $15 a month.
Don't even. But you can trade.
I wanted to like it so bad. I wanted to like Elder Scrolls Online so bad.
I did too.
I played the beta. It was so good, but I can't afford that.
No.
A cash grab is a cash grab. Just let it be.
I'm still angry about that.
That's true. And to bring up Final Fantasy again for like the 4th time, at least, 14 didn't do very well online at first, but then they redid it, and it doesn't seem so bad anymore because it's a little cheaper.
Yeah, I saw that. I was looking through the sales on Square Enix's website, and I saw that was on sale.
Yeah.
And now I'm considering buying it.
Yes.
Because it's $30 for a month.
It's also subscription.
It's okay, so it's like $30 for the base game, and then I think they also give you a month for free. I have to go back and look at the sale, but that'd be pretty cool.
But Bethesda, what do you think they are? Do you think they're going to go completely new, or do you think they're going to stick to their Elder Scrolls / Fallout guns?
I think it's going to be open world.
I think
they are good at that.
At least one of them is going to be, I think, a new Elder Scrolls game. I think it's been
5 years.
5 years.
He said that it's something we've never seen before. So I think it's 3 new IPs.
It's a Fallout Skyrim hybrid.
It could be a new Fallout, a new Elder Scrolls title, and then a new IP. That would be
maybe
playing it safe, but still doing a new thing.
Did none of you guys read the article?
I didn't.
I can't say I did. So whoops.
Oh my.
Well, if they are 3 different things that we haven't seen,
before. New games.
Yes.
So probably not Fallout or Elder Scrolls.
Exactly.
So if it's 3 things we don't know about, where do you think they could excel? In a specific
open
atmosphere.
World.
Well, no, in a specific atmosphere they haven't done before. So they've done
steampunk.
Well, they've done nuclear apocalypse and medieval-esque fantasy. So steampunk is what you're saying?
I would really like to see a good steampunk open world.
I would love.
Really
I think it'd be awesome.
I think it'd be really cool. I think if they did something in the vein of BioShock Infinite open world, that would be
like
super
Sky
awesome.
City.
Yeah,
I think like a BioShock 1-esque world too, where like the underwater
Rapture. That'd be super cool.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Or space. They could do space.
Space would also be pretty cool.
I don't know, now that I think about it, if space is a great place for Bethesda to go, because No Man's Sky is already coming out, and that's like going to be the ultimate open world game. Like if what they say about it is true. So I don't know if space is a great idea, but maybe underwater or in the clouds, but maybe not space.
Yeah, EVE Online tried that too. That didn't work out so well. It worked out well, but I didn't think it was good.
Yeah, that's mostly ship-based. So
and buying thousands of dollars worth of ships and then having them destroyed instantly.
I know. Well, they there's some crazy battles that happen.
They're pretty serious in EVE Online.
Yes.
Well, guys, like I said, they pay a lot of money for their ships.
Yes, they do. Anywhere else, do you think they could go? Or what would the game would be about, either?
RPG? I still think it'd be RPG.
Well, for sure, because
I think a future dystopia, not like Fallout-esque, but like it's still like working land,
like
but
an apocalyptic steampunk.
like a corrupt government type.
Like
Set.
like
I don't know how to
2112,
explain it.
the Temples of Syrinx.
Sure, a lot of people are gonna get that one, Kiral, Kenny, whichever one you are.
Kenny.
There will be some, and those will be the fans. Anyway.
All 9 people.
Yep. What was I gonna say? Or they could just, decide to do a first-person shooter. Like,
That'd be so lame.
yeah, it would be, because there's not
That's
enough
not-
of
Like
those.
there's already enough of them.
That's not Bethesda,
there's-
man.
I know. I was just saying, like, if it's something we've never seen before,
I mean, I would be surprised.
especially from them, it would be surprising.
Well, I'm gonna trust that they have a large group of people who are creative enough to come up with something that is good and that I would want to pay money
So
for.
I have an idea. I know what their plot's gonna be.
Half-Life 3.
No.
Dang it.
You're gonna be a prisoner of some kind, trapped in a specific area, and then you're gonna be freed from that area and
Stop.
say you're important, and you're gonna do
Every
something.
Bethesda game.
important.
Stop it. Stop.
It's true, but anyway, I think it'll be interesting. Maybe they'll show one of them off at E3, but then again, Fallout 4 just happened, so maybe not.
The new HTC Vive.
Yeah, that
no.
is
Yeah.
the HTC Vive. In case you don't know, is HTC and Valve's response to the Oculus Rift. It's a virtual reality headset with better position tracking. They use multiple stations throughout a room to track your position in a much larger area than the Oculus can with its little infrared webcam on your monitor. And
So
yeah.
go ahead and continue.
Oh, until now, we had no idea how much the Vive was going to cost, except it was supposed to be more than the Oculus by quite a bit. And we still don't know. They just announced today, apparently, that they're going to announce how much it will cost at the Mobile World Congress to be held on February 22nd to 25th in Barcelona, and pre-orders will begin on February 29th. So in the next few days, we'll know how much more it costs.
I'm kind of interested to see what happens because when the Oculus announced its price to be $600, all hell broke loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
They
technically speaking, it is better, but I really hope it is cheaper as well because I really want to do virtual reality, but that's so expensive. $600 for that's not really worth it.
You might start running into a lot of developer kit 2s on the cheap on eBay, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Because I know a lot of people are going to be replacing if they got the developer kit not to develop, just to play the games.
Yeah. Another interesting point is that it takes a lot of processing power
Yes.
from your computer. So maybe like if you can afford a computer that's good enough for that, maybe the $600 price point might not be something that's too big of a worry for you.
I mean, that's my main problem with just virtual reality in general, just because I think it's just way too expensive for it to become a thing.
Well, it's still new.
Yeah, I know.
Guess.
And I'm not saying it's not going to be a thing at some point. I'm just saying, like, at the moment where it is now, it's just way too expensive.
Yeah.
For it to be mainstream. Like, to have you need, like, a computer that's like $800 at least.
I think that the Oculus minimum specifications are a GTX 970 and a 4690 Intel processor,
Yeah.
an i5.
Yeah, that's quite pricey.
Yes.
That's like
And then that's not
$600
even-
there.
And that's not even buying the Oculus Rift itself.
Yeah, that's already like $700 ish.
Yeah.
Just with the processor and graphics card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, maybe price isn't that big of a deal to some people right now, but
Yeah. And then, well, we don't know how much the Vive is going to cost.
that's true.
But, I mean, if it's going to have different sensors and stuff throughout the room, I can't imagine it being cheap, I guess.
No, they're pretty
I
sure
don't
it's
know
going to
if
be more than the Oculus.
But some of the stuff that's coming out for it's pretty cool.
Valve is pretty good with pricing stuff fairly, so I think I don't want to place all my trust in Valve, but I think whatever it's going to be prices, it's going to be worth it. Because Valve has never been really ones to overcharge for things.
Yeah.
They always release like the full experience.
Yes. They always do a good job delivering on what they say happens.
Right.
Usually.
And it'll be nice having... I think that the Vive is probably going to be compatible with more games because they have Valve backing them. I mean, Oculus has Facebook, but that's not necessarily going to get them a whole lot of games.
I mean, but...
Oh, yeah, man. I'll play Farmville on my Oculus.
I
so
mean,
good.
because Valve has all the connections.
Uh-huh.
They could make or break someone on Steam.
Yeah.
They could twist... If they wanted to, they could twist someone's arm and say, hey, you're going to let us have this or we're going to take your game off Steam.
They could say all virtual reality has to be compatible with the Vive and Oculus is optional.
Oh, that would
Dude,
be
that
the
means-
nail in Oculus's coffin.
That means most Valve games are going to be Vive compatible, and now I'm really excited for it.
I want to try
Yeah.
Counter-Strike. It's going to suck, but it'll be so fun.
Oh, dude, I could... Portal 2 with the
God.
virtual reality would be pretty fun.
You get
I would-
sick.
Yeah.
God. Just spinning around. Could you imagine, when you have to, like, basically fall infinitely?
Uh-huh.
You know how, like,
launch yourself.
sick you would get? Maybe you don't.
Oh,
I don't know.
That'd be great. I don't know. I don't get motion sickness very easily, but that I could see that being a problem now.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't know what it's called, but it's like that giant thing you stand on with just socks on, and you pair it with an Oculus or another virtual reality
I
headset.
think it's the...
And then you can walk, and it controls your
I
character.
believe it's called the Wii Balance Board.
Well, I think the one you're
No,
thinking
you can't use
of
socks
is-
on the Wii Balance board.
Yeah, you can. Aren't you supposed to?
I
don't think you're supposed
Wait,
to.
what's it
I think
actually
you'll
called,
slip and
Kenny?
fall.
I think it's the Omni treadmill. It gives you directional control based on how your feet are sliding across its surface, and it
That's
has a little
interesting.
hoop that goes around your waist to keep you from running off of the treadmill.
Oh, like a hula hoop.
If someone wants me to work out, that's how it's going to be done. I would be playing games for hours, and I would lose so much weight doing that.
I want to play Animal Crossing with one of those.
Or you
Doing
can just
chores
get
for people.
one of those hoverboards and just
Stop.
and just have like a little place that you can anchor it and then just move around, and that's
They
it.
already had to change the signs at my school. You know, the no skateboarding
Yeah.
or skiing. They had to add no hoverboards on it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
There's some kids at my school with them, and I'm just thinking, why? It's gonna be Wally around here sooner or later.
Isn't it like $300?
They're not cheap. It's an investment.
for like a glorified fireball,
I mean, it's
because those things will light on fire while you're riding
yes,
them.
and they're basically segways without the giant stick in front of you to grip. Speaking of things
so
that
much.
aren't great,
Oh my god!
Street Fighter V.
Can we have a Jonathan Gets Mad segment every week? Because
Yes.
this is really starting to bother me.
yes,
So Street Fighter sucks. I hope you didn't see that one coming, because it does. And so what? Street Fighter V, right? It's a AAA game. You'd think Capcom would have all of their things together so they could support the gosh dang servers, but no, they're down. They're not working for a while. And all we have to kind of calm our nerves is a press release saying, we'll fix it, and that's it. That's all we have. So,
so
God,
Does that
okay.
really constitute the game sucking, though?
Hold on. It gets worse.
he's getting there.
It
Okay.
gets worse.
Okay.
So, to unlock characters, they have microtransactions in a $60 game with $30 of DLC. So, it's $90.
And then with microtransaction, probably around
And then
100.
But, no. You can earn fight coins.
Oh, FCs.
But the servers have to be up. So right now, you're in the bone zone. You can't unlock any characters without paying for them. And hold up, to unlock one character, you have to win 2,000 fights.
What?
2,000 fights! Oh my
nuggets.
And now this is day one DLC. These guys are locked behind a paywall from the get-go.
Yes!
Wow.
Okay, here's a question. And are there also some like other technical issues too, other than that?
Mostly it's the server's problems, but I find this day one DLC characters to be a kind of problem.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was gonna say
Because
Smash Brothers has like $30 in DLC, but they were released over the course of a year.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were very, very polished characters too. So, like these, I wouldn't have as much of a problem with it because you can also buy skins. I don't really care about that because it's skins. It's not going to affect anything. But watch there be an OP character in this paywall that I have to get behind, and all the people that already paid $90 for the game can't get it now because they can't afford this OP character. And then you just made one of the world's most popular fighting games broken. Capcom, why? Sorry, okay. I just had to get that out of my system. I'm very angry about this topic.
You know, that actually relates really well to the next topic, but that we'll keep talking about Street Fighter V.
No.
You know, I actually saw it played at Comic-Con, and I thought it looked cool, but obviously then they weren't showing off that everything was stuck behind paywalls and whatnot, so I guess initial reactions are obviously not the same from the for the finished game.
Oh yeah. Oh man, all the diehard Street Fighter fans are pretty unhappy right now. We should probably.
Oh yeah, I was looking up what PC Gamer was saying about it because it got like a 53
out of
100.
Out of
Oh
100.
wow.
And I don't know why it
Yeah.
sounded like there was some technical issues on the PC version. So I mean, I don't know what's the strongest copy, probably like the PlayStation 4 or not, but you know, and I don't expect that the main people they're going for is PC. But
Probably not, because it's a fighting game. So,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe PC players, because you get those like stupid, crazy high frame rates with any Street Fighter game. Like, I could run Street Fighter 4 at like over 200, 300
But
frames per second.
Does the game actually play that fast, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you'll see competitive gamers will like strive for these super high frame rates, even though it doesn't really affect them a whole lot. They think it just, I don't know if they think it is. I don't know. That it helps their reaction times.
Kiral, there was a thing you wanted to talk about in the news.
Yeah, there was recently an article from an interview with the Ubisoft CEO where he said that the industry has become less hit driven and more dependable. So where that means is that there's a steady revenue stream for companies, and that they don't have to be producing like these $150 million games every, like, so you don't have to hit the Golden Goose every game. And that's better for the companies, but may be bad for the consumer. And I actually have like a really good quote from a guy on Reddit. His username's Tarmac Gaming, and so I'm gonna say it verbatim. So here goes. So the interesting and painful realization is that this is because of microtransactional income. We were told for a long time that games were too expensive to make. Companies were disappointed in multiple millions of units of sales. There had to be hits in order to make up for underperforming titles. Nothing else changed. We don't have price increases. Sales are going up, but honestly, if you look at raw game sale numbers for individual titles, most of today's games aren't breaking any records. What did change is the addition of alternate revenue streams, meaning even a subpar game release with low sales can still do reasonably well. And hit games, well, that's the Golden Goose.
That's really interesting. Because, I mean...
And I completely agree.
It allows for smaller companies to thrive. So you get a lot more indie gamers, which is indie games, that is, which is good. But then,
especially...
Go ahead.
Especially like after the fall of a lot of big gaming companies, like in the late 2000s, or early 2010s, where like a lot of them were going bankrupt because exactly. That's pretty much the biggest one.
Yeah, I mean, the microtransactional thing is the most interesting to me because I personally don't like them. Like Rainbow Six Siege, Ubisoft game, has microtransactions so you can buy different skins and stuff. And I don't know what else you can get with those, but I don't know. I don't really like getting paywalled that much.
Yeah.
Well, is that really a paywall? Because it's all cosmetic, and so it doesn't affect your gameplay. It just affects.
Oh, I wasn't really talking about Rainbow Six Siege. I was just using it as an example of microtransactions in AAA games. But that I'm okay with that kind of the way they're doing it, where it's still achievable to get most of the things that you can buy with real money, like in game. Like, it is a lot more difficult than spending $2 or however much it is per skin by, having to do hours worth of games to actually get the skin. But if it's free, then I don't care. Like, it's not that big of a deal if I can still get it without having to pay for it.
Yeah, I think again, talking about Valve, I really love these guys. I think they handle microtransactions very well. CSGO, for example, gun skins are totally optional. You don't need to have a gun skin to be better. Mm-hmm. You might be chastised by the community because you don't have an ops, like a $200 op skin, but screw those guys. And then TF2, they do have weapons you can buy, but weapons are the easy things to get in that game. Like, they're not easy, but it's still possible to get a TF2 gun just by playing TF2.
And you're also not at a complete disadvantage if you don't have every weapon in the game.
Right, because most of the stock TF2 weapons are pretty good. Mm-hmm. So I think if a lot of AAA companies just followed that formula, whereas if it's not like game-changingly broken to have this paywall there, then it's good. But it's starting to kind of piss off a lot of the gamers in the community because it's not something a lot of people can afford to do, and it's starting to make games unfun for people.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird because it is a good thing that there are different ways to get income than just people buying the initial game, because that leads to companies actually taking chances on things that they wouldn't want to do because they would lose a lot of money.
I also think it also kind of extends the life of the game. So if a company's making money from the game and they want to release more content for the game so people keep coming back and spending money there, rather than having a large adoption rate and then having it just like drop off immediately once the next big game comes out.
I think, but I think the different things we're talking about here are microtransactions to win and microtransactions to get more content. So like DLC versus buying a gun, that's stupid powerful.
Yeah, pay to win.
Well, pay to win is horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's disgusting.
I do not like pay to win.
And
outrageous.
And I agree with you guys. I totally think if it extends the life of a game and it makes it possible for a company to take a risk, then go ahead. As long as, it's not, first of all, if it's not day one DLC.
Yeah, day one sucks.
That's not my favorite thing.
It's terrible. And I think, I don't know. Something I think we need to stop doing is pre-ordering so much. Because we're starting to
especially when companies ship broken games.
Exactly. We're starting to get broken games, and then companies are just, we'll fix them later. We got to get this game out because a bunch of people already paid for it, so who cares?
Yeah. I mean, people who pre-order games, they can still push it back if they want to. I mean, Nintendo games, that happens all the time. I mean, people have had the ability to buy Zelda Wii U, like pre-order it for a long time, like on Amazon and stuff, but they pushed it back a whole year pretty much last year to make sure the game's good.
We don't even know if it's going to be on the NX or not.
Yeah, like, so I mean, it really depends if like they know their fan base. Like if they think their fan base is going to be upset about it and like really salty and stuff like that, then I'm pretty sure they'd rather push the game out and have it be buggy than, you know, say, hey, we got to delay it. Can you guys wait?
I think a lot of Nintendo fans are okay with waiting, though, because Nintendo's policy is we don't want to release a broken game.
Exactly.
It's better late than
And
broken.
if you look at their history, I think every Zelda game after Ocarina of Time has been delayed. So it's not like it's a new thing.
Right, yeah. I mean, and was Splatoon delayed?
No.
I don't think so.
So, but it did come out and it worked. Right?
It worked really well.
Yeah, they did the
one.
pre-release
The global test
That's
trials.
right. They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So
I think if companies did that more, that'd
There
be
are
great.
some that do that,
I
like
think-
the beta in Battle, like Star Wars Battlefront and things like that.
Yeah, but they don't always use that to their advantage.
That's
sometimes.
true. Well, the problem with, like, you know,
Well, Battlefront didn't ship broken. It just shipped with
yeah,
like,
I was
no
just about to
content.
say that. Like, Splatoon had the same thing, but the thing is they kept releasing free content, and like the last update was like a month ago, and it came out last June, I want to say, or May or something like around there. And then Battlefront like shipped with like 4 maps or something, and
so it was just the ones in the beta.
yeah, like there
Oh,
wasn't.
man.
And then there were a
Or
couple
no.
new releases and stuff, but like honestly, if anyone would talk about it, it's just pretty much a really stark package. Like there's really not a lot.
Which it disappoints
Yeah.
me because I played the beta, and I know a lot of people that played the beta, and a lot of people were super stoked for that game, and just now I hear no one talking about it. I don't hear no one talking about it, but it's definitely not as talked about.
It didn't crash
As
and
much.
burn as bad as Evolve did, but that doesn't matter. Changing subjects, unless anyone else has anything to say.
Don't pre-order games, and companies stop making stupid DLC and paywalls.
I only pre-order it when I know it's going to come out on that date. So, as far as I know, 3 out of 4 people have seen the Deadpool movie in this podcast. Is that true?
I haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
I
That
haven't
is
seen it
that
yet.
is true.
Well, then, do you mind if we spoil it, or do you not care?
Yes, I mind a lot actually.
Is it? It's well, as long as we don't talk about actual jokes, there isn't much.
Yeah, we can just
spoiling
talk
you can
about
do.
it. And honestly, the plot is not huge. Like,
It's not Star
it's
Wars.
fairly predictable, I should
Yeah.
say. So you're not really missing much out on plot, but we won't talk about it anyway. We'll just talk about our general impressions of the movie. So Kiral, why don't you start first?
I, along with pretty much anybody else who saw it, think it is an incredible film. It's freaking hilarious. I saw it with my girlfriend Sabrina,
name
and
drop.
she loved it too. Which, yes. So obviously it appeals to both genders and not. And since it came out on Valentine's Day weekend, whatnot, some people thought it wouldn't appeal to women, but it did, obviously, because it made $150 million. So
Yeah, it did well. I also saw it with my girlfriend, Hannah. Boom, name drops everywhere. And we both really liked it. I thought it was really funny. I think they did a good job keeping to Deadpool's character. I think I enjoyed the first half more than the second half. I really liked the origin story and things they talked about. I thought it was really interesting, but I felt like the second part, while funny, the plot fell flat. But that's my honest opinion.
Yeah, the present day story, there wasn't a lot to it. There weren't a whole lot of minutes that weren't flashbacks.
Yes.
And my favorite part, though, Well, one of my favorite parts was probably the opening scene. The
Yes.
crawl through the time frozen scene. That was just amazing.
It was really cool.
So much detail, and all that stuff would have just been there for a frame and then gone if it weren't paused. But you got to look around and see all the detail. It was so cool.
Including the man's
Well, yeah,
butt
that
crack.
was
That was
the best part.
interesting. I mean, I thought him breaking the fourth wall, which since it's Deadpool, obviously it's going to happen, was really clever. I think what he said to the audience was clever. I don't think I thought most of the jokes were pretty well thought out, I think.
It also didn't happen
Yeah.
too often. It only happened like 2 or
It
3
was-
times.
It was
throughout the
really
movie.
fun, and when he did it, it wasn't annoying. They could have been really annoying with it, but they weren't.
Yes.
They were very tasteful in their fourth wall.
I think they did a really good balance of humor, and they didn't make they made Deadpool's humor very apparent and everything, but they didn't go so overboard that it got annoying at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and it is a shorter superhero movie, like an hour and 48 minutes, which is a long time. That's a decently long movie, but I think it didn't overstay its welcome. I think it was the right amount of time. I just think the plot was a little weak, and that's pretty much how I feel about it.
Yeah, I was.
I agree.
I was.
I totally agree.
Yeah. I was really happy with the flashbacks. All of that added up, it built. It was really fun to watch. But the conclusion, I felt like it could have been a little stronger. I wasn't, because it was all flashbacks. I felt like we didn't see the present for very long
Yes.
before it was over. We didn't. It didn't feel quite as wrapped up as I would have liked, but it was still one of my favorite movies this year.
It's
It's the only movie I've seen this
Yeah,
year.
so far this
I mean,
this
I
year.
saw The Revenant this year, and that was pretty amazing. So I don't know if it's as good as The Revenant in my eyes, but just for an all-around good time, not depressing, caught out in the wilderness and horrible things happen to you movies, like I think it's good. I think Deadpool is a really interesting character. I'm glad that the movie did well, because I wasn't sure. We talked about it, like we weren't sure how well it was going to do because it had an R rating.
Well, there were quite a few kids, at least at my showing.
I did.
It
I did not
definitely
see a lot of
deserved
kids.
it definitely deserved its R rating.
Yeah,
And it was kind
That
of
makes me
strange.
cry.
Oh yes.
I mean,
oh, yes.
there were some parts that I felt like they fought a little too hard for that R rating, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's just like how some R movies are. They're like, hey, we're rated R, now we can just go crazy if we want to, you know?
I want to talk about. Are you guys done talking about the movie? Because I have a
Well, let's just give our overall ratings.
Oh, are we doing a scale? Should we do it like
Yes.
1 out of 10, or should we do it like Game Explain review style, where they just say I liked it or loved it? Or
I say
Okay.
out of 10.
you go first, Kiral.
Well, I'm gonna give it 8.6 bocce balls out
Wow,
of 10.
you're like throwing in random adjectives,
Nouns.
It's a food.
nouns. Yeah, not
Nouns.
adjectives. Ugh,
Persons,
gosh.
places, or things.
Yeah, I didn't.
I know it's been a long time since you've been in a high school grammar.
I've been very
class.
tired. I haven't taken an
Richie,
English class since high school, but I meant to say nouns, but I said adjectives. Anyway, Kenny, you go.
I would rate it somewhere around like an 8.6, I think.
Wow, that's oddly similar to Kirill's rating.
No, probably 9. It was. I didn't really have any problems with it. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. I liked it better than the. I had more fun than the other Marvel movies lately, I think. So
Yeah,
I was pretty happy.
a lot of
Yeah, better
the
than Age
past
of Ultron.
Marvel movies have been a little bit of a depressing affair. I
Yeah.
think.
Oh, so serious.
I think. Well, Civil War doesn't
Iron
look like
Man?
a bag of sunshine either. Like it looks fairly. I think
what-
it's going to be good, and I think X-Men Apocalypse is also going to be good. But
it's gonna be good, but I'm gonna cry. I might cry a little
it's
bit.
going to
Richie.
be emotional.
What's your rating?
Mine is. I'm just going to look at something in the room. I would give it in.
I don't have any bocce balls in my room. That's what you're wondering.
I would give it an 8.1 rip roll out of 10. There you go.
Okay. I guess I rated it in drumsticks.
Okay. So
I'm gonna give it a 7 top ramens out of 11.
So wait, what kind of drumsticks? Like ice cream or like real drumsticks?
Like Promark 747B Neil Peart drumsticks.
All right.
I give it 11 Fender Jazz Precision Bass Silver with the roto wound strings, tuned to drop D out of 9.
That one went up to 11. Boom, there you go.
Oh,
okay, Jonathan, what did you want to talk about?
Funny.
Okay, what did you want to talk about, Jonathan?
Okay, so I saw a Facebook post, right? And it said it was a mother. I'm not gonna name drop because they may not like me saying this. It was a mother, and she said that she took her son to see Deadpool, and this son is quite young, well below 10.
Okay.
And she was angry that they didn't give enough of a warning.
I think I've seen that.
Mm-hmm. Enough
you
of
mean
a warning.
Rated
I
R?
mean, it should be obvious enough that it's rated.
Not recommended for people under 17 is not enough of a warning.
And they demanded a refund.
Oh wow! I mean, well, I'm honestly that's the dumbest thing ever.
Can we stop and just think a minute? We're not here to cater to your child.
No,
that's your job as a mother.
I mean, like, I don't want to I don't want to stomp on anyone's parental decisions, but I don't know. It's just a rated R movie. It just I wouldn't take my kid to go see a rated R movie until they're old enough to see one.
Wait till they're 11.
If you want to take your kid to see Deadpool, by all means, go ahead and take him. Just don't complain when it's an adult movie.
Yeah, there are definitely some parts where it is fairly adult, fairly 17 plus, and so taking your kid, which is probably fairly young, obviously not 17,
sub 10, he said.
Baby.
Oh, 10? Well, then definitely
below
not
10.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, why do it? But that's not me to judge. You're the parent. But again, the refund part is pretty dumb. Most of the time,
you should know what you're going.
Yeah, I mean
into.
that's why they say rated R, and then gives you all the reasons why it's rated R. And it's not your typical just PG-13 superhero movie. And that's kind of all I have to say about it.
All right, are we done with the
I think
stuff?
we are. So that is it for this GameBloc cast. If you want to get a hold of us, we're on Twitter and Facebook. Also, if you want to comment on SoundCloud or iTunes whenever we get that approved, that would be great. And tell your friends. Also, there may not be an also. Also, check out our blog. That's pretty cool. I put a little article on why I game on there. It's pretty short, so if you want to check it out, check it out. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Richie.
I'm Kiral.
No. But I went second in the intro, Kiral.
You took more than a second to answer. So.
I did not. Excuse me.
Excuse you.
And I'm Kenny.
And this has been the GameBloc cast. See you guys.
I'm Jonathan. I'm last. I win.
See you guys next week.
I'm the most important.
We go. Not to sound like Peter Pan.
Here we go. Wait, hold up.
That's
before
exactly what I was thinking.
Ah!
What happened? Did you die? God. Just like I heard a scream and then a thud.
Uggles. Come on, Bo. Bo.
Man, this is worse than like
Oh.
my train. Like,
True, because it, pun intended, it derailed the podcast.
Yeah.
This is the GameBloc.
hold on. I'm getting a call from Comcast.
It wasn't me!
I give up. But I've been mostly playing Fire Emblem Fates.
Ooh.
Oh wait, no. I wasn't. I actually been playing Lightning Returns more. Hold on. Let me redo that.
Can we have a rewind, please?
Yep. Okay.